Welcome to Sethos Part 2. Halloween has come and passed, and yet it is still Sethos time. His banner is still flying high, and I am as strong of a salesman as ever. Is it a sales day? And I recognize that the last video was pretty long-winded, and not a lot of people are going to watch it. So I'm going to go ahead and give a TLDR of that video at the beginning of this one. This is why I think Charge Shot Sethos is cool, and why I think you should play him if you have him and not the burst style. But if you don't have Sethos, you should specifically pull for him because you shouldn't pull for 4 stars because that's a really bad idea. But if you already have Sethos, you should play him like this. Shortened to why I think Charge Shot Sethos is cool, and you should play him. Number 1, it's a ranged attack, meaning that you can hit guys from pretty far away with it. Number 2, it charges in 0.3 seconds. Number 3, it has a large AoE. Number 4, it has no cooldown and it only relies on you generating 20 energy. Number 5, it has no internal cooldown and implies element on every single hit, and can therefore cause reactions on every single hit. And finally, number 6, its damage directly scales with Elemental Mastery, so you don't have to choose between building for reaction damage and building for talent damage. You just build EM and you get both. And thus ends the list of why I think Charge Shot Sethos is cool and why I think you should play him. But this also relates to the rest of the video. I feel kind of stupid because I, spent 45 minutes talking about why it's so good to be able to apply element and how having so much element on no cooldown is such a cool thing, but I didn't realize how that could be good for reactions other than aggravate. I guess I just kind of forgot that all the other reactions existed and could be good. And the best team that I found with him since opening up my preconceived notions, I guess, is this one right here, where it made a small appearance in the last video. Ooh, great, it's raining. I can show you how this is really just Sethos doing all the damage. Okay, maybe it's not just Sethos. And then it stopped just as soon as it started. Okay, cool, I guess I can't have anything. But anyways, back on topic, I found this team because frankly, it's the only team that I can make work on my account with Charge Shot Sethos. I only have 4 other Hydra units fully built. I know Mona is level 80, but I haven't finished building her talents. I don't really know what to do with her yet. But back to what I do have, you'll see that I only have 4 others. I have 2 on-fielders, Child and Nuve, who obviously aren't going to work. I mean, maybe I could do some goofy dual carry stuff with Child. I don't know. I've been trying to make that work for a while, but I haven't found much that's really satisfying. I have my 2 on-fielders, and then I have Xingqiu and Yelan, who are, again, like Sucrose and Kazuha, in the larger scale of Genshin, they're basically the same unit. But because I'm not using normal attacks, I can't use either of them. And then the only other options I have are Barbara, whose application is pretty pitiful from what I know.
Tall as my big sister.
Could you be quiet, please? And Candace, well, actually, I don't even have it, but even if I did have C6, it requires you to deal elemental damage using normal attacks, which I don't think Sethos can even do at all. So this is the only team that I even can build, and I do want double Hydra in this setup, because Nahida is strong enough Dendro application on her own, and as I'm talking about with Sethos, he applies his element with every single charge attack. But just because this is the only hyperbloom team that I can make on my account with Sethos, I mean, obviously Farina's here. Farina's busted in basically any team. And because of how busted she is, she actually has a really cool interaction with Hyperbloom Sethos. Farina giving so much damage percent can often let units use non-damage percent goblets. And in Sethos' case, because he scales off of Elemental Mastery... actually, well, I feel like a fraud because I haven't even done it. And now I'm in combat, so I can't swap. Jesus Christ. I planned ahead for this. You can tell. Okay, now we're on the right one. Anyways, because Farina gives so much damage percent, we can... Where's the thing? Use an Elemental Mastery Goblet. Oh my god, I definitely had this ready the first time. And obviously in this team, that's really important because that Elemental Mastery Goblet is going to... Okay, well that's nice. Increase the damage of our hyperbloom. So, well, everyone's already dead. I might have to go find some tankier enemies. We actually might be able to see it against a few of these overworld enemies. Because I do just have a cracked Sethos. Ooh, that's nice. Yeah. My shots are hitting for, what, like 15 to 17k depending? And while that's not a lot of damage, it's certainly not nothing. It adds up, especially when you're doing so many. Like that. Our charge shots are still doing a decent bit of damage, and our hyperblooms are like dealing double of them. I saw a 30k before. I thought I was going to be able to get one, but these are looking more like... I need to pay attention. Oh, that's nice. 24. So if we combine the hyperbloom damage with the shot damage, we're getting like 40 to 60k every shot.
Way ahead.
This is... Yep. Are we done? And you may be thinking, oh wow, these are just overworld enemies. These guys they're pushovers. These are level 9 world enemies. They certainly aren't as strong as anything in the Abyss. Ooh, I'm horrible. But they're not pushovers. They take at least a little effort to knock down.
Way ahead.
There we go. Can Kuki do that? Probably. She can probably kill an enemy in around the exact same amount of time. But Kuki's good! So that must mean that Sethos is also good. Right? Come on guys, I'm not alone here. And Sethos brings some pretty unique stuff to the table. Like, for example, his ability to selectively trigger hyperblooms.
Excuse me?
So we have 2, and I'm only going to trigger... Did I only get 1?
I'm not giving up.
Who the hell are you? I think...
It was all...
Who the hell are you? Alright, you are my newest test subject. Never mind, you're not...
That tingle?
You're horrible. You ruined everything. Oh, never mind, I can do it here. I can trigger... These enemies all suck, and I'm gonna go to Natland because they're actually tanky over there. Okay, we're over here. Ooh, and these guys are level 100. Maybe they'll actually survive a few hits. Life hack, never fight one of these YOB guys with Sethos. I can't tell you why, just don't do it. Okay, now we get to hang out with these guys, and I get to show you what's so cool. The 900 thing that's so cool about Sethos. Oh yeah, this needs to go on the list too. We're gonna make an addendum to the list. Number 7, was it? He can really finely control, well, it's aimable. It's aimable is my point. He has this really big hit of Electro that always applies Electro in AoE that is aimable in basically 360. And for those who don't know, hyperblooms can only hit a target. I think it's 2 every 0.5 seconds is the limit. So if you trigger 3 hyperblooms and they all hit the same guy within half a second of each other, only 2 of them are going to deal damage. And because Sethos has such fine control over where his Electro application is, you can use that to only trigger certain groups of blooms. So say there's a big group of blooms, there's like 7 or so, 3 over here, 4 over here. If I were Kuki, I just walk in there, I trigger all of them, it's over. Sethos, I'm able to trigger half of them with one shot and half of them with the other. Or if I'm even better, I can maybe only trigger 2 of them with every shot. I don't know, this is kind of theoretical, I admit. It's something that applies a lot more in single target, so I'll probably show it off when I do a boss or something, I don't know. That is yet another cool thing that Sethos can do, technically. If you care enough to do it. Hey guys, ooh, wait, you guys are Dendro resist. Ooh, should I hunt down Yomkasaurs? I could be evil. I could be really evil. I could hunt down Yomkasaurs. I'll
Let's hope you
stick
put
to
up a good
humans
fight.
for now. How many are there? Just 2? Why are you guys so spread out? Do you not like each other? What's going on here? Come on, everyone hold hands. Okay,
No?
we've got the best friend over here.
Gotcha! Where you headed?
What's he saying? Rinse your teeth? Here's another one. Are you alone?
Well.
I feel bad leaving you up here by yourself. No, I don't. I lied.
This was
They call me the one charge shot wonder. I'm just gonna beat this guy up regularly. I was considering on using my full rotation on him, just to be a hater.
on you.
Oh, you know, maybe I have to. How much health he has, God. He just burgeoned me. He burgeoned me. You're not the one who's supposed to do all the reactions. That's my job. Okay. Big dendro-resistant enemy time. What am I doing?
Hold the line. This way, Turtle. Time to shine.
Excuse me. On you. Use the space.
Fresh maneuver.
I haven't even done the thing that I wanted to show off, which is when I set my jellyfish a little bit away from the enemies.
I hope you share me now.
Okay, well, Mountain King doesn't know what personal space means, but... And I use it as kind of like a bunker.
Excuse me.
I get that I'm using a team that does, not mostly, but a lot of dendro damage against an enemy who has high dendro
Use the
resist.
space.
That's kind of the point, I guess. Oh, well, I messed that up. My damage numbers.
Grandfather.
That was a 29,000. I saw a 29,000.
It was all.
That does damage? Okay, alright. Statue of the Seven it is. The number 1 point we're fighting this guy is so we can see big purple number from Sethos, like that one. Okay.
Hold the line.
Excuse me.
And the number 2 purpose, I guess this is actually the number 1 purpose, is to show you what a team rotation will look like.
Where you headed?
I just did a little bit of testing. Something else has changed that I thought was different. I honestly don't know how I thought this, but Sethos's level 1 charge shots suck. That's okay. I had 2 there, but you saw that I missed the first one. They're really not good at activating hyperblooms. Let's see it again here. Yeah, I just missed it. I'll slow that down so you can see it better. But it's much harder than I thought it was to hit hyperblooms with his level 1 charge attack. Maybe I should stop fighting this guy because he keeps one-shotting me because I'm not bringing pyro. I've been doing a few level 1 charge shots in these first showcases because I thought that it had a much bigger hitbox than that, frankly, when it came to hyperblooms. I don't know why. That's just me being disappointed. But they have tiny baby hitboxes, and you shouldn't use charge level 1 in this team. Alright. Ooh. I might try to destroy Simon. I'm gonna bully Simon.
Have you ever tried drawing in the sand? From up high? It makes for an incredible sight. But you need to pick somewhere less exposed to the wind.
Thank you, Sethos. I don't actually even know my rotation here. Am I supposed to... I feel like I had it right the first time. Oh, I messed that up. Whatever.
Where you headed?
Where is he? I can't. I have to restart that. I'm too bad at this game. Why am I bursting before I skill? What is wrong with me? I've been playing too much carry Kokomi. That's my issue. Except the thing is, I think you still are supposed to skill before you burst on Carry Kokomi. I think I'm just really, really bad, is what it is.
Allow me.
Not nice. Okay. We're taking him down here.
Excuse me?
Rest, rebuild.
You see that? You see that Simon Demolition? As I go through a few more bosses, I'm just gonna give a little context as to the power level of my account, so that maybe you can have an idea of what sort of damage you can expect from your investment level. All of my limited 5 stars, I guess I can stop for a second to show them off. All of my limited 5 stars are C0, save 2, Chiori and Risley. Risley I actually went for, got him at around 70 pity. Chiori, this was a little bit of an accident. I got her at 11 pity. It's possible that I was pulling for Stardust so that I could have enough to buy the monthly wishes, but there are also many other things that are possible, so let's stop talking about that. I don't go for many limited weapons. You can check my inventory here, pop it right open. I only have like, what, 4 or 5 signature weapons, and this is a day 1 account. Actually, it could be day 2, I don't know, but very, very early on in the game's lifespan, I made this account. I don't spend a lot of money on this game, so I prefer to get new characters instead of weapons. That being said, I have bought the battle pass a lot, and you know, I'll open up here again. I'm pretty reliant on this. My R5 Serpent Spine is one of my pride and joys of my account, but we're not using any claymores here, so it's not relevant. So I don't have a lot of best in slot weapons. I use mostly free-to-play weapons or decent generic 5-star stat sticks. I think my artifacts are of pretty average quality. I mean, they're as good as you would expect from someone who played the game for 4 years. But I never made a point of farming artifacts. Oh, and we have a bow. Perfect for this. I never made a point of farming artifacts, so I never got particularly crazy stuff. I tend to just get what I need and then stop farming a domain and go for characters. Even though this is a pretty old account, I wouldn't say the damage I'm getting is crazily unattainable by new, even free-to-play players. My account's main strength, I think it comes from mostly the variety that I have. I've mostly spent my resin on increasing the amount of options that I have, not only for specific teams or things like that, but even like options for what specific artifacts I can put on units. Like I mentioned before, Sethos can use an Elemental Mastery Goblet in this team to increase both his regular shot damage, because he's getting damage percent from Farina, and his hyperbloom damage. That increases this team's DPS by a pretty decent amount. I have something similar with Farina going on. She has, where is it? She has these 2 timepieces. These 2 timepieces, you'll never see them on my account on anyone but Farina. Don't quote that. Maybe I will use them on someone in the future. It's simple energy recharge when she's solo Hydro, when she doesn't have enough energy recharge, and she needs enough to get her burst. HP and double Hydro when she gets enough energy. Swapping her to an HP Sans helps her get a lot more personal damage. So there's stuff like that that newer players just straight up can't do. I mean, getting 1 artifact on a character is hard enough. Like, you shouldn't have to farm for 2. And you don't have to, but you can. And the game can become easier if you do that. Because then your characters can adapt to more situations. Oh, hello. Kokomi saved me. Almost died. Plunge attack Sethos. Let's go. There we go. We're done here. It's time for Overload Sethos. I freaking love blowing things up. Overload Sethos, I'm gonna go back to Natlan and find some common enemies. Not because it does less damage, although it does do less damage. It's that the strengths of Overload Sethos. I don't even know where anyone is. Okay. Let's go over here. Oh, I know these guys. I know these guys. Yeah, Sethos Overload does do less damage than his Aggravate and his Hyperbloom variants, but
Excuse me?
it has a few other traits. I guess not really. They're all just doing damage. Just like Hyperbloom and Aggravate,
Let's get it on.
Sethos can bring stuff to Overload that not many other units can.
On you.
Most notably, the knockback effect is... Oh, come on, get away from me.
Space.
Yeah, out of the way, please. He basically just ignores the knockback that Overload does. The reason why Overload was such a garbage reaction for so many years,
Space.
it does decent damage. Okay, I'm gonna need to heal a little bit. Chevrolet, go! It does decent damage, but it's really, really annoying to deal with, because, okay, you know, it does its thing. It knocks people back. It sends them flying into the air. But when you have a charge shot user,
Excuse me?
well, knockback isn't really much of an issue, is it?
On you.
Oh, and actually, in this team, because we are dealing some decent talent damage, we're going to swap back to the electro damage bonus goblet. Goblet flex. I tried pretty hard to force Fischl into this comp, but whichever way I played out, it didn't really work.
Way ahead.
She would always just burn through the pyro way too fast, and Sethos wouldn't be able to get any overloads off,
Space.
and he would lose out on a lot of damage. You know what? F this. Back to my favorite sleepy boy in the world. I think you're... Yeah. Yes. Yes, I'm doing this.
Hands right, see 'em.
Space.
Okay, well, I was just talking about how I don't think I'm very high investment. And then we go and see Shanling on
Way ahead.
Engulfing Lightning. I promise I'm not a whale. I promise this isn't normal. You know, I wasn't talking, so I didn't do my rotation correctly. I'm gonna lock in here. Okay.
Let's get it on.
Excuse me?
Drop your weapons. You
Way ahead.
Ooh, look at that. It's much easier to see against a bigger enemy who won't die in one hit. But you can see, I'm not getting it anymore because I don't have my Sand King's Boom buff, but I'm getting decent talent and reaction damage at the same time.
Way ahead.
I would have known that's what this team is kind of built to do. This, okay,
Excuse me?
I actually can say that this is a team that you want to use level 1 charge shots on. Because if you don't have your Sand King's Boom buff, which is this little hourglass, which I actually didn't go over in the last video, that might have been nice to know. If you don't have that buff, your shots deal pretty pitiful damage anyways. And in that case, most of their damage is going to come from the overload anyways. So you can just... well, I did it wrong there. That. See? So who would have guessed it? This is just another Sethos team where you get some decent talent damage and some decent reaction damage. And Chevrolet is so strong of a buffer that she makes teams like this, which are kind of ridiculous looking, viable to an extent. Something else to note, because her buffs include, or debuffs I guess they are, shredding pyro resistance, overload damage, while there usually wouldn't be any other way to increase its damage other than giving your character more elemental mastery or increasing their level. It's not attached to any talent or anything like that, but it is still considered pyro damage, and that is subject to pyro resistance, meaning that Chevrolet also makes your overloads deal more damage in any team that she's in. This would also be a much better team with C1 Dehya, as that makes her into someone who actually deals damage. Right now I only have her on Tenacity as a very small buff to Xiangling.
Space.
That reminds me about something else cool about Dehya. I can talk about it once this guy's dead, because I'd just rather kill him now. Okay. Something about Dehya. First off, Xiangling is here. Number one, she does a tiny bit of damage. Number two, she applies a lot of pyro. Talked about it in the Emily video. If I could use Emily here, I would, but Chevreuse doesn't let you use non-pyro or non-electro teammates, obviously. Xiangling, she does some damage because we're getting Chevreuse's res shred. More importantly, she's there to apply pyro, because without pyro, Sethos' shots aren't going to be reacting. They're just going to be dealing that flat damage, which, I mean, you saw it. It peaked at like 15,000 in this team. It's not a lot of damage. We're much more interested in his overloads, which basically double the damage of the shot. Dehya, her off-field pyro application is horrible. She only hits what, once every 2.5 seconds? Okay. It says it in the word part and not the number part. Okay, thank you for putting the number in the word part of the talent. But that's not the only pyro application she has. Dehya's skill applies pyro on its first use, it applies on its second use, and of course it applies on its hit, which if there was an enemy here, I would just hit them and it would do the attack and it would apply pyro and you would see what I was talking about, but they're not here. Dehya has bad off-field application, but if she's allowed to go on-field, she has pretty good application. And you know who it allows her to swap on-field in the middle of his rotation? That's right, Sethos, baby. Anyways, rotation time. So what you can do is do your first wave of pyro, get a few reactions off, second wave of pyro. Well, I messed it up by giving an electro aura there. This is why I like Xiangling. I should clarify with context. This is why I like Xiangling in this team. Because in this team, she's actually really easy to play because you get a ton of pyro particles naturally. And also I have her on like 250 energy recharge still. Yeah. You know, no Chevreuse. She makes this too complicated.
Excuse me?
Look at that. That's 4 charge attacks, which is as much as is boosted by the Sand Boon. What? The Sand King Boon talent. What? So I was wrong. Xiangling is probably necessary in the charge shot version of this team, because Sethos gets rid of Dehya's application pretty fast. Yeah. You can kind of keep up. That's hit scan, right? Yeah. He has a charge attack just like me. Oh my god, we're twins.
The sun sets.
I guess he didn't like me saying that. I also mentioned in the last video that Sethos likes to have a shielder. And something you may have noticed about both of these teams is that neither of them have a shielder. This one you can kind of get away with it because not only do you get Dehya's interruption resistance, but... Okay, it's not showing it off. Overload has pretty decent stagger damage. And like I was saying before, Sethos counteracts the downside of Overload throwing enemies in the air. He also sort of makes it into an upside because throwing enemies into the air staggers them and makes them unable to attack you, obviously. So this ends up being, even though it is not a traditional Sethos team at all, it doesn't, where's the Dendro, where's the shield air? It ends up being pretty good at cleaning up trash mobs and even dealing a tiny bit of single target damage. Not a lot, mind you. This is definitely the team with the lowest ceiling that I've shown off. But optimal damage isn't necessary to, you know, do the hardest content in this game. You know what? Maybe I'll prove a point. Maybe I'll run this team against Spiral Abyss and then that'll be the end of this video. This could go one of two ways because I haven't tested this in Spiral Abyss. Okay, so the first half is an Electro Consecrated Beast and a Pyro Consecrated Beast, but I'm still gonna run Overload into them because I absolutely refuse to run Sethos into this second half. 3 Geo Shields, Jesus Christ. What are the teams? You, Navia, Zhongli, Farina. Going in, baby. First recorded Spiral Abyss. I'll take credit. Oh, okay.
You asked
I'm already
for it.
messing up, but whatever.
Let's get it on. Hi. Booba, get them. Eat this.
Way ahead. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I might not be able to 3-star Chamber 1. I'm messing this up pretty badly.
Final warning.
That's a cool thing about Sethos. I mean, I've talked about it a lot, but because he's not locked into any specific on-field window with his charge shot playstyle, if I mess up my rotations, I can pretty easily fix them.
Drop your weapons. Booba, get them.
I don't even have enough. Okay.
Justice will bring.
Way ahead.
Let's get it on.
And I can also do stuff like that, or go to other characters to generate energy. Do it, do the thing.
Stop right there.
Wait, what?
Nice and spicy. Eat this. Hand thrust. Buckle up. Hi.
I'm messing.
Way ahead.
God.
Behind you. Here's the space.
There we go. 1815, that's not too bad. I think I might be able to 3-star with that. And that's against 2 enemies that are pretty difficult and resistant to the 2 elements that the team's damage deals.
Fellow warfare, I guess.
This is order.
Long story short, I missed the 3-star. I rotated so horribly that I missed it by like 40 seconds. So I didn't get it, but it was by no fault of the Sethos team. It was just because the first chamber is number 1, horrible, and number 2, I was playing a team that I've never played before in it. Floor 1 is so horrible, this Abyss. I'm not even gonna bother talking about it. So. Okay. I'm good at this game.
Come on.
Excuse me.
At the right hand. Drop your weapons.
Oh, wait.
You asked.
Here's the space.
Okay, there we go.
Get it on.
Excuse me.
Justice will bring. Look alive.
No.
Booba,
Oh wait, never mind. The buff lasts long enough where I can just do it anyways. How much Chevy's buff, by the way?
gloves off.
Oh, that's another thing I do. Sometimes she's not really built for it, and because she's C0, she doesn't do a lot of damage. But
At the right hand.
sometimes I just burst with Dehya if I don't have enough energy and set those. Anyways, I'm messing around way too much.
You asked
Like
for
now.
it. You asked for it. Final warning.
Way ahead.
Okay. Boom. Alright, I shouldn't have used my Xiangling burst, but I'm gonna have to do some battering at the start of the next chamber. Who cares?
Got your name on it. Umbrella warfare, I guess.
There we go. Actually 3-starred this time. I'm not a buffoon. Ooh, let's go, Elemental Mastery. That's the thing that he uses to deal damage. I might have to restart this floor. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do it. I'm just playing kind of stupid. I need to get her enough energy. I really kind of screwed myself with this Xiangling burst here.
Buckle up. Stop right there.
Excuse me.
Look alive.
Oh, okay. Here's a point where I can Dehya burst. And it doesn't deal a lot of damage, but... Did I hold that? I hope I did. Please!
Excuse me?
Here's what I do.
Way ahead! Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Whoa! Okay, yeah. Sethos has got it right.
Excuse me?
Drop your weapons. Justice will complete this. Hold them off.
Way ahead! Excuse me? Give space.
There we go. 8 minutes 33 seconds. Big. Alright, now this one. This mother freaker.
This is
This fine young gentleman that I have nothing but good words to say about. I hate this guy.
This one's
Ooh.
got your name on it.
Finished off with a normal attack. There it is. That's the Sethos video. Overload Sethos can clear Spiral Abyss, and I proved it. Like, comment, subscribe if you think Overload Sethos. I said Sethos. Like, comment, and subscribe if you think Sethos
If you're always asking why,
belongs in
end up thinking
Overload
yourself
and is
into a
really
corner.
cool.
Sometimes it's better to let